Anita, thank you for bringing this event to the Loft and to us in Pune, and welcome all of you. Thanks so much for coming. Thanks to our speakers for coming from different cities to be with us. And it was appropriate today. I was at the hairdresser. Yeah, I do go to the hairdresser, even though there seems to be not much need to do that. And I found this cutting in the paper today. It says, PCMC to free up public spaces, plan them with people's designs. So it says that the Municipal Commissioner Shravan Hardikar told the Times of India that it was under the Smart City project and would solve minor civic problems with citizens' participation. So it's nice that we are having a lot of talk and action on public realm issues, and we are having this talk with us today, here today. We have two speakers today, Vikash Chandra and architect P.K. Das, architect and technocrat Vikash Chandra. The evening is going to go like this. I'll introduce Vikash and he will speak. Then I'll introduce PK and he will speak. And then we'll have a short moderated conversation and Q&A with the audience. Vikash Chandra is a finance and public-private partnership expert in the Smart City Mission Management Unit in the Ministry of Housing and Urban Affairs, Government of India. He oversees more than 400 public-private partnered urban projects worth 33,000 crores in 100 smart cities. These include projects in solid waste management, rooftop solar, affordable housing, public bike sharing, public utilities, smart parking solutions, and mobility cards. Previously, he was project coordinator for a World Bank-funded program of $300 million for the Department of Tourism of the government of Uttar Pradesh. The program demonstrated tourism as a poverty reduction tool in the heritage-rich areas of Agra, Braj region, and the Buddhist circuit. For more than a decade, he was senior manager, then assistant VP with IL&FS Infrastructure, leading government advisory and transaction projects in aviation, urban, and tourism infrastructure across India. He has had experience developing international airports, ropeways, international convention centers, and so on, all in the public-private partnership mode. One of the projects he was instrumental in is the master planning of the 160 square kilometers Tehri Lake area. As an architect, he has worked on over 150 projects, one of them being the infrastructure and planning and layout for Flame University right here in Pune, while he was working at Vastuship Consultants in Ahmedabad. He began his architecture career in Pune with Ravi Gadre and Associates and Chaugule Sant and Associates. He studied architecture at Karnataka University and urban design at CEPT in Ahmedabad. Vikash, welcome.
गुड इवनिंग. पुणे से पुराना रिश्ता है. I graduated in 99 and I don't know what was the reason, लेकिन landed in Pune and by coincidence went to Ravi Gadre sir and worked with him. So 2 years of important transformation was in Pune. So this is my place. Thank you. Okay, so nowadays I work for the Smart City Mission. I'm there in the ministry, and for the last about 3 years I've been there. So I'm an architect, an urban designer, also a finance guy. A rare combination, but I think I will be able to bring in some kind of a useful information. Okay, so let's go placemaking and challenges and opportunities in Indian context. How we'll go about this presentation is, let me share my opinion of what I understand of placemaking, the essential ingredients, how urban development has gone over ages in India, the last 72 years. Let's talk about Smart City Mission and the opportunities it brings, the progress, and some of the reference projects. I'll try to make it visual and let's see how we take it forward. Okay, we all know this. There are many advocates, I'm sure all of you are, of placemaking. When you say that what defines a character of a city is not the private spaces, but it is the public spaces. We all know this. But is it easy? Trust me, it is not. I'm sure you all know it in different capacities. So what we'll do is, we'll basically zoom in, we'll zoom out, and we'll again zoom in. I think that is a way to kind of comprehend the micro issues, the macro picture, and again coming back to the normal. So placemaking, my 2 cents. Placemaking is a process where people transform the locations where they inhabit into the places they live. Well, this is the global perspective. There is an Indian perspective to it, which makes it much more complex. This is the definition of, in the epilogue of Mahabharata, the epic, where it says that whatever is here may be found elsewhere, but what is not cannot be found anywhere else. Which means that all of a sudden, your domain becomes very, very huge. Today we were there in the college and we saw students displaying the 9 emotions in one particular public space. So from emotions to philosophy to context, everything. So that is what the Indian perspective of a place is. It may look messy on the surface, but there is quite an order and there is much more philosophical approach to a lot of things there. So this is what I feel, in my opinion, is a most appropriate expectation of the Indian public space, where it says that whatever is here may be found elsewhere, but what is not cannot be found anywhere else. So that is the level of penetration and depth we need to have when we design a public space in India. Well, I wanted to put some mangoes. And because of this is the beauty of an Indian context, where it says, सोच रहा हूँ घर आंगन में एक लगाऊं आम का पेड़, खट्टा खट्टा मीठा मीठा यानी तेरे नाम का पेड़. What it basically means is, even the tree is in a context of an emotion. So it is much more deeper than creating a space for universal access, creating a space for 8 to 80, they say, from an 8-year-old to 80-year-old. I think it is much more deeper when it comes to Indian placemaking design. Even if you don't intervene, they all exist. And there is a great, in my opinion, a great level of penetration is required to understand that fabric, and it takes some time to kind of adjust and kind of get the hang of it. The last one though is, नीम हमारे घर की शोभा, जामुन से बचपन का रिश्ता, हम क्या जाने किस रंगत का, होता है बादाम का पेड़. So point is कि वो जो पेड़ भी लगाना चाहता है, the tree he wants to put in his courtyard is with the relationship and with a particular emotion. So that is placemaking, what I understand. Well, I take this liberty to say, how do we transform our cities and public spaces? 10 strategies. Well, they may, every word here can have a long discussion. People can have counter arguments about it, from improving the streets to places, creating squares and parks as a multi-use destinations, building local economies through markets. In fact, I have been discussing this with Prasanna sir since today morning, that somehow we architects do not like finance. We hate this kind of, these tricky, greedy kind of subject. But believe me, it is just so important that economy, finance, until unless we bring value to it, until unless we add to it, our placemaking will not be kind of so successful. Designing buildings to support places, link public health to public space, reinvent community planning. Well, great history. Every city right from the ancient period to colonial to medieval. There have been a great kind of many examples. We have to just look around and we'll find that kind of cases right amongst us where we live in. So it has always been done. We have to reinvent them. The power of 10 plus. Can we have 10 good places in Pune? Can each neighborhood have 10 places? So the idea is to give a scale and to kind of make it big. In fact, I saw in your presentation today morning that you're talking about that a Western style of eating is having a pizza, where the first bite or the last bite tastes the same. Indian thali is much more diverse. But what I basically want to add a point further there is that give the same thali to 10 gentlemen and 10 ladies here, and everybody will have their own sequence of experiences. Somebody will start with a custard, somebody will start with a puri, somebody start with maybe they will dry their... So the entire sequence and experiences from the same palate is different. So what is a lesson learning for us is that we give a palette of products and let the people be a scientist and create their own experiences. They will create a jamboree of it. There will be a different multitude of sections of it. So that is basically talking about this. When there's a lot of expectation from people when it comes to smart cities. But it is, you may not be able to achieve the kind of top floor in the beginning. Let's start small. And I'll come to the kind of experiences, how it has happened across the country. And obviously government will have to be restructured to support these public places. Now, this is an interesting slide. This in blue and that in yellow. This is a sequence of how urban development has happened in the country. Why the blue and the yellow have been differentiated is, from the initial, and let me be particular, from 1970 to 2000, the increase of urban population was 100 to 35. If 100 people, the population grew, 35 people were urban. But look at the number after 2000, which basically means is that if 100 people were added to the Indian population, it was 52 in the cities. It was 52 in the urban areas, which is more than the kind of rural population. So if you kind of, I think that's a huge change. But interestingly, we in government have not been able to accord urban that kind of a priority. I can say even today. The initial approaches were primarily on migration as an issue, how to stop people in villages, how to create, the slums have happened and the slums should kind of move out. Interestingly, urbanization in India was different than how it happened in Western countries. It happened because of industrialization there, and people moved in because of jobs, and they came to the cities, and thus they had a non-agricultural population. In India, urbanization was not affected by industrialization much, and therefore we have got a different levels of urban centers. And since these urban centers are at different levels, we require different interventions in these cities. Only, if I can say, that JNNURM was the first kind of a motive where they started giving a focus on urban areas. Prior to that, it was about basically stopping them, creating industrial towns, satellite towns. How do we stop it? So that was kind of a target. One more thing which I want to basically emphasize is that how many of us are urban designers here, by the way? Any hands? Wonderful, love you. Me too. If the period of golden quadrilateral was to kind of boost the civil engineers. JNNURM was all about urban planners. Smart City Mission, in particular, I can say, it is about us, the urban designers. This is the first time that people are asking, do we have an urban designer in your team? Does anybody understand the fabric more closely? Is your at times I have got a job as a disguise of urban planner. They thought कि urban planner तो वही कुछ होगा उसी ढंग का चीज. So in that disguise I have also got a job. But today I can say that the times have changed. If we don't understand this opportunity, we'll be missing it. So this kind of situation is basically for us, the urban designers here. And when I say urban design, it's all about placemaking. Well, I wanted to kind of bring this slide just to set out the expectations right. What Smart City Mission, since I work in the Smart Cities Mission, I will like to kind of explain that. What is it? What should you expect right and what you should not? What is important? So in the ministry, you can say basically it is the 3 numbers which define the entire strategy of the mission. There is 5,000, 4,041, then you have 500, then you have 100. 4,041 is the number of statutory towns in these countries. 3 issues are paramount: cleanliness, housing, and jobs. So 3 different missions were created addressing these 3 issues, and they are being done in all these 4,041 towns. Next level is 500, where we wanted to design water supply and sewerage systems. Now that requires some scale. So 500 towns which had a population of 1 lakh plus, they were selected, and that is where all these water supply and sewerage things are going on. So now interestingly, this 500 is a subset of 4,041, and the next one is also a subset of the entire thing. So now if affordable housing is being taken care of, if cleanliness is being taken care of, if livelihood is being taken care of, if water supply and sewerage is being taken care of, बचता क्या है? और जो बचता है वही स्मार्ट सिटी मिशन का एजेंडा है. So that is where the third number of 100 comes in, where 100 smart cities were kind of envisioned. In these 100 smart cities, the idea was that let's kind of select an area and demonstrate with both tangible and intangible outputs that this is a different place than the rest of the city. That was the whole idea of 100. So it is more aspirational, and therefore if there is a picture of flood and 2 kind of cars stuck in and people with knee-deep water and with a caption "Smart City?" I think that is a wrong expectation. Nevertheless, so that is where I just wanted to, this slide is important to emphasize that. So in the Maslow hierarchy of needs, smart cities is more aspirational, and it first time it is talking about economy, it is talking about environment, it is talking about safety, surveillance, which a municipal commissioner was never bothered about. A municipality or any urban local body is for the first time talking about these issues, which are much kind of, there's a capacity issue we are facing across the country. But this is what the pilot has increased. We know this, urban development is getting a larger focus and a larger kind of investment as well. It requires government support. Now, interestingly, how many of you are working in a smart city project in any of the cities? Very few. In fact, more of you should work. And those people, even those who work, it is always a kind of a question, what is exactly a smart city? So I found there are 4 kind of definitions, simple 2 words, 3 words, which explain the right, at least the intent of this entire program. Just to summarize, 100 cities are there. There are 5,151 projects, and it values 2,05,018 crores, which is around 29 billion US dollars. That is the scale of this program. And believe me, trust me, the scale is so huge that last year when I was here in Barcelona, I was representing the Indian pavilion. 3 days we could not move from our pavilion. Everybody was interested in what is happening in India, only because of the scale. That is a scale which is kind of attracting the entire world's attention. Now, this is, I think, the simplest and best explanation of what a city is. This was a question asked to the Prime Minister of Singapore, what is a smart city? And without blinking an eye, he said, smart city is a city which works. If there is a tap, it should have water. If there is a street light, it should function. If there is a road, it should be having access to everybody. A city which works. Simple, very clear definition, which kind of, unlike the expectation of people that it is all technology and everything, no. It is our understanding the Indian context of smart cities. Equally brilliant is this one, affordable excellence. Halaki, they are two different words, two different hands, affordability and excellence. But if we can create affordable excellence, I think that is what a smart city is. I think this definition by the Prime Minister was equally good. A city which understands the challenges of today and is prepared for the challenges of tomorrow is a smart city. And the last one was more from less. More outcomes from the lesser resources. The road is limited. In that same space, if you can have more people commuting in, I think that is a smart city. The amount of water, drinking water available to a city is limited. If that can be given to more people, I think it is a smart city. So it is all about optimizing the resources which we have. So I found these are 4 things which define the Indian context. Well, I'm a finance guy as well. I love numbers. I emphasize that there 100 cities we say, they are also very different. So from a size of, say, Bhubaneswar, which is 526 square kilometers, to Kavarati, which is 4.2. A population of 84 lakhs of Bangalore and 11,000 of a city. If you look at this pie chart, 45% of these cities are less than 0.5 million. Only 5% of the smart cities of 100 smart cities of India have a population more than 4 million. So that is a huge amount of diverse kind of cities. Every city will require a different kind of a surgery. Well, smart city, a great definition I also found it is like fixing an aeroplane when it is in the air, and it has to also kind of fix in the airport where it has to land. So the city is moving. In fact, जावेद अख्तर साहब की एक बहुत अच्छी 4 लाइन है जो कि शायद हम लोगों ने पहले सुन लिया था. वो कहते हैं कि ये नया शहर तो बहुत खूब बनाया है तुमने, ये क्यों पुराना हुआ वीरान जरा देख तो लो. इन चिरागों के तले इतने अंधेरे क्यों हैं, तुम भी रह जाओगे हैरान जरा देख तो लो. The point was, he was telling कि all across the world, smart cities have been greenfield cities. Plain green slate, done in. When Indians were given the choice, I think we chose brown better than green. So 91% of our cities are brown field cities. We have chosen a retrofit model. We have chosen the historic cores of our cities, which is, brown is actually a more difficult kind of a situation than a green one. So I was asked this question by Adam Beck from Australia, who said, why are Indian smart cities not greenfield cities? So I told them probably we love the color brown more than the green. So that is the kind of link in here. Well, it has also different source of finances. I'll not kind of trouble you with numbers. Interestingly, if you look in the kind of sequence of projects across sectors, this will give you from safety and security to energy to IT connectivity, housing, water supply, area development, economic development. Did any municipal commissioner or any of our municipality prepare to kind of address such of a question? But I can tell you, this is the aspiration of the country, where they want you to fix all these kind of issues when you do a kind of a project in our urban areas. So this is the expectation of the people, which gives you such a diverse lot to think about. Here, you as architects or urban designers cannot say that I will be bothered only about the typology and the morphology and the mobility orientations and the inserts. Sir, in definitions के अलावा भी आगे सोचना होगा, and that is what the people expect from you. If you give them a great fine road and they are finding it difficult to commute and their economy is not doing well, they will not be happy. At least the current kind of age of our country is more aspirational and they have huge expectations. Just to give a look what is happening across the country, you may like this. 3-minute
भारत
video.
में मानो स्मार्ट सॉल्यूशंस की उम्मीदें एकाएक बढ़ गई थी स्वच्छ और स्वस्थ जीवन के लिए। इसलिए मोदी जी ने अर्बन ट्रांसफॉर्मेशन का मिशन रखा।
हमारी सरकार नई सोच, नई अप्रोच के साथ शहरों के लिए 5 बड़ी योजनाओं पर काम कर रही है। इसमें स्वच्छ भारत मिशन के साथ ही प्रधानमंत्री आवास योजना शहरी, स्मार्ट सिटी मिशन, अमृत योजना और दीनदयाल राष्ट्रीय शहरी आजीविका मिशन भी शामिल है। रहन सहन, पढ़ाई लिखाई और आवाजाही से लेकर कमाई तक की ये योजनाएं न्यू इंडिया के संकल्प का एक अहम हिस्सा है।
इस मिशन का लक्ष्य था सभी शहरों के गरीबों का उत्थान, जिसे पूरा करने हेतु भारत सरकार के आवासन और शहरी कार्य मंत्रालय ने स्वच्छ भारत मिशन, प्रधानमंत्री आवास योजना, अमृत योजना और स्मार्ट सिटी मिशन को दी प्राथमिकता। और थोड़े ही समय में स्वच्छता अभियान एक बड़ा जन आंदोलन बना और 18 राज्यों के 3,119 शहर कस्बे हुए खुले में शौच से मुक्त। साथ ही 57.6 लाख टॉयलेट और 4.4 लाख कम्युनिटी टॉयलेट बनने से शहरों में बढ़ी है स्वच्छता। अब लोगों के खुद के घर का सपना भी हो रहा है साकार, क्योंकि 2.96 लाख करोड़ के बजट से 54 लाख घरों को मिली है मंजूरी, जिसमें से 30 लाख पर काम शुरू है। 9 लाख घर नई तकनीक से बन रहे हैं और 8 लाख घरों का निर्माण हुआ है पूरा। इसके अलावा प्रधानमंत्री आवास योजना ने महिलाओं का स्वामित्व सुनिश्चित कर महिलाओं को किया है सशक्त। आज अमृत योजना से 1 लाख से अधिक आबादी वाले 500 शहरों को मिला है स्वच्छ जल, अपग्रेडेड सीवेज सिस्टम, एलईडी की रोशनी से जगमगाती गलियां। अमृत योजना में 77,640 करोड़ के प्रोजेक्ट्स को मंजूरी मिली है, जिसमें से 71,435 करोड़ के प्रोजेक्ट्स इम्प्लीमेंटेशन के अलग अलग स्तर पर हैं और 39,011 करोड़ का उपयोग हर घर तक पानी पहुंचाने के लिए किया जाएगा। गति से ही है प्रगति, तभी तो 500 किलोमीटर की मेट्रो लाइन शुरू है। आज विकास की राहें सीधे मंजिलों से जुड़ रही हैं। राष्ट्रीय नगरीय जीविका मिशन से, हुनर की ताकत से, स्व सहायता समूहों से, ऐसे ही बदलावों से विकास को गति देने की पहल है स्मार्ट सिटी मिशन। जिसका लक्ष्य है शहरों के नागरिकों को विश्व स्तरीय सुविधाएं मुहैया कर उनका जीवन बेहतर बनाना। इस पहल के अंतर्गत 100 शहरों का चयन हुआ है, जिसमें से 95 शहरों में चल रहे हैं SPVs, यानी स्पेशल पर्पस व्हीकल्स। कुल 2.05 लाख करोड़ रुपए के प्रोजेक्ट्स स्वीकृत किए हैं और 60,000 करोड़ का काम शुरू हुआ है, जिससे ये शहर बन रहे हैं स्मार्ट, जहां पर होगी इंक्लूसिव प्लानिंग, साइकिल फ्रेंडली रोड्स, वॉकेबल लोकेलिटीज एवं एक्सेसिबल ओपन स्पेसेस। साथ ही 100 शहरों में से 57 शहरों में बन रहे हैं इंटीग्रेटेड कमांड एंड कंट्रोल सेंटर्स, जो गवर्नेंस को बनाते हैं एफिशिएंट और इफेक्टिव। पर इन सबसे ऊपर अब 46 शहरों में स्मार्ट रोड, 59 शहरों में स्मार्ट सोलर, 51 शहरों में स्मार्ट वाटर, 49 शहरों में स्मार्ट सीवर और 75 शहरों में 11,000 करोड़ के पीपीपी प्रोजेक्ट्स की कल्पना हो रही है साकार। तो कुल मिलाकर पिछले 3 सालों में हुए इन डेवलपमेंट से लोगों का जीवन बना है बेहद आसान और स्मार्ट। साथ ही व्यापार के क्षेत्र में भी बढ़ी है संभावनाएं। ये है भारत सरकार का आवासन और शहरी कार्य मंत्रालय का एक और कदम न्यू इंडिया की ओर।
Now, those people who do not like technology, let me give a few examples. There was recently a flood in Baroda, and the city was drowned in this. This one command and control center project became the center where everybody collated, from the chief minister to the MLA to the MP to the national disaster relief part. And this is where they were kind of giving instructions. उस जगह का पानी कम करो, वहाँ पे बिजली खत्म करिए, यहाँ से इनको evacuate करना है, उनको वहाँ से लेके वहाँ लेके जाना है. So entire planning was happening at this kind of a smart city building which was created, which has got all the kind of sensors. Recently, not recently, about 3-4 months back, there was a cyclone in Visakhapatnam and Kakinada. They were able to move the entire people in less than half a time, and no kind of casualty was done. Now these are kind of impacts which the cities are kind of experiencing. Now when you design a place or in any of your city, these kind of parameters will have to be taken care of, and they will be kind of helpful when you kind of integrate them into your kind of design process. Now just to give a status of it, we are out of that 2 lakh crore total project, about 72% of the projects we have tendered them out. About 52% of the projects the work has begun, and about 23,000 crores, which is about 11%, the work is 100% completed. Now these might look at big astronomical numbers, very big numbers, but the India's requirement, they are probably less than 1/20th of our requirement. So since our requirement is so huge that everything you do is always less, and therefore more from less will always be a kind of a principle to bank upon. We'll always have less resources, and how do we kind of maximize the impact on people will be the kind of main challenge. These are happening across the country, every city. Rajkot mein, there was some kind of a bad incidence of kind of rape. They were able to kind of trace the kind of criminal, and every kind of illegal activities, or the police is basically taking use of these cameras. They're able to kind of create a better evidence against the kind of bad people. If I'm a criminal moving in a city, they have my facial recognition. They are able to map me where I'm going, where I'm not. There are kind of interestingly young startups who are creating key, okay, this is you have the Google map telling you this is the shortest route to your house, but what is the safest? So there are different angles and different stakeholders who are basically contributing to this part. And each of this angle will be kind of important when we design our kind of place for this workout. So these are about 8-5 beachheads, we call them, which we monitor them closely in the city. Okay, let's come to what is happening in your state, what is happening in Maharashtra. Now, this is very interesting, just to find out that there are about 9 states which have got more than 4 smart cities, and about 62% of the smart cities. So we can say 9 states have got 62 smart cities, which impact 83% of the urban population. Now, the entire population of the country is 130 crores, and the urban population, they say, is around 31% or 35%, which is close to about 40 crores. So out of that 40 crore of urban population, which we have in our country, about 10 crores is the population of these smart cities, these 100 smart cities. So, which is around 25%. And in this kind of 10 crore population in 100 cities, Maharashtra has got 8 smart cities, which has the highest number of urban population impacted. So if this is the kind of target people which this program will basically be affecting. You do a good project, you do a bad project, but that is the impact which is going to happen in the people. So this is the scale on which we have to work. Maharashtra, which has got about 8 cities, it has got the highest number of urban population. How is Maharashtra doing? Not great. Because Maharashtra should not be compared with the kind of 37 countries and UTs. So if we look at the rank of how these states are performing, these are the 9 states which have got at least more than 4 smart cities. So out of that, Gujarat, Andhra Pradesh, Madhya Pradesh, Karnataka, Rajasthan, Maharashtra is, I can say, towards the fag end. So the state has not performed that good as it should. More so when you're impacting the maximum number of urban population. So the expectation and the responsibility on the officers who are working the smart city is more here, but much to do. Well, smart cities, we are not only working about IT projects, but we are working on many other things. I have got 5 more minutes.
Go ahead. You've got time.
No, please be kind of cautious. I can get more. Only these are new initiatives being done. They are interesting kind of initiatives. For example, making the cities be responsible towards the climate. So we want them to measure their climate parameters, be more cautious. We call them climate smart cities. Ease of living, let there be kind of an index, measure it. Can we measure the outcomes? Because only when you have a report card, you'll be able to know, okay, how did you fare? Maybe you did one good in some subject, but you flunked in most of them. You have not done overall good. So there is a ease of living matrix which is done. Data became very important. You just cannot say, my project is beautiful and it's looking so good and that's why it's a beautiful place. But we'll have to actually have data on how it has impacted the people, what has been the outcome of your intervention in that cities. So therefore, data smart cities have come in. Each city, all the 100 cities have appointed chief data officers. We are struggling. They have never kind of done it before. We are struggling as the data management in the entire country has been in a mess. But nevertheless, kind of putting the right blocks, learning about how to kind of filter them out, how to kind of bring the right data so that the young researchers, they also can have much more authentic solutions if they have such diagnostic information available with them. So city GDP is important. What are the 10 parameters on which a city's economy is running, which is facing a larger challenge from the globe, and what should be done to kind of basically support them so that the city GDP can be kind of growing. We don't have any kind of mechanism to measure a GDP at a city level. That needs to be kind of worked on. Those kind of things are basically initiated. Interestingly, we chose the best man for the mission, who was your municipal commissioner before, and who is now the national mission director, and that is where we are working in. So if we are choosing the right people, so I think we are right there doing some things correct. Let us see some of the projects of placemaking which have happened and how they have impacted. Some of them are Pune projects also. Sanna sir, we take care of your projects. should notice it is all across. It is in Bangalore, it is in Pune, it is in Namchi, it is in Bhopal, it is in Ludhiana, it is in Dharamshala. sole reason I think I wanted to show you this was that the country is big. The issues are enormous. The resources we have is limited. But the good part is we have just started to address the entire gamut of issues. And each of these efforts, in fact, there was a recent exercise we did, Virita ji, the smart city area which is being developed in these 100 smart cities, what is the percentage of area we are kind of developing? It was only 3 to 5%. It means if we required 2 lakh crores for these 100 cities only, and that also for the 5% of its area, which requires 20 times of the investment is required, which would mean 1.2 trillion for these 100 cities alone, and what to talk of the 4,000 cities which we have as on date, which might make up 7,000 tomorrow. So that is the scale of the country. So that is the scale of the country, and that is where the entire process has all begun. And the number of issues we kind of target in, we cannot evaluate the smart cities mission of India by the lenses of possibly Europe or America or Korea or anyone else. The issues we have is different. The scale is at different level. Plus all these cities are functional cities. People are living here. They're shopping there. The kids are there. The girls are there. Everybody's right thing happening everywhere. So that is where the entire gamut is happening. Well, just to give a glimpse very briefly, what kind of things are happening? Ease of living, mobility, pedestrian-friendly streets, affordable housing, public bicycle sharing. I'll tell you examples, sir. Bhopal was the first city which did a public bicycle sharing. In this country, how beautiful this country is. We have about 10 different models of public bicycle sharing in this country. They have all evolved themselves. For example, just to give a brief of you, Pune gave some capital money to the developer and some kind of a operating expense was given. Bhopal gave it. Pune said, we'll not give any money. Anybody who has got more than 150 bicycles, please come and run, earn and be merry. Coimbatore said, we don't want 5 operators who have got different applications with 150 cycles each. I want 1 operator and they must come up with 2,000 bicycles. So Coimbatore had their own model. Ranchi said, boss, मेरे यहाँ तो कोई आएगा नहीं, और plus मेरे यहाँ terrain भी hilly है. तो said कि I will give you 13 rupees per day per cycle and please kind of run it. Every city has evolved their own model. Just a simple bicycle, I'm giving an example. I can talk about innumerous kind of projects and I can go for days maybe, or what the kind of projects being done by the brilliance of the cities. Connecting the community. We are very talkative people, often very critical. More so, the community of architecture is a bit more stricter, and they're very critical about the things which are happening. Everything we are kind of positive. We question a lot, but still, it is important to listen to questions. Try to connect the community, smart classrooms, skill development, startups for that matter. We recently did a event in Pune about 2 months back. We called it the Smart City Technology Showcase Day. We invited the municipal commissioners of 13 cities of Gujarat and Maharashtra, made them sit in a room. We selected 15 new technologies by startups. We had a partnership with Agni, which is works under the principal scientific advisor to the Prime Minister. Young, bright people, brilliant things. And they were all sitting together, and like a bazaar, the commissioners would move to a table, listen to a presentation and move to another. 55 startups were given LOI that day. So smart cities have got so much to do. And the biggest beauty, I believe, is that it does not fix you with doing this or that. You are open to understand your city's requirement and program your kind of action accordingly. Heritage, public art, urban spaces, many. Governance, these command and control centers. A lot of people have a feeling that smart cities in India is all about technology and we are creating these cameras and everything everywhere, and what is the use of this? So are these cameras, are they human enough? Sir, technology will only help you in kind of functionality. And that is what they have been contributing. Each city, I can talk about the outcomes, how they are brought in and how they are affecting the life of the people. Polls, governance, command and control centers, the grievances of people. You know, I have a problem. I raise it to you. You may probably not address it, but I know that you have got it. You have read it. You have replied to me, okay, fine, we can do this. We cannot do this, or we have passed it to somewhere else. Even if I get this communication, that is good to me. At least that is happening. So in most of these centers, they have this grievance addressal system. You will be able to know the complaint you lodged about this kind of pothole. Where is this position? What is the action being taken? And trust me, these are being monitored at the highest of levels. One of the idea was we want 15% of the energy to be reduced in a smart city. Solar rooftops started happening because of the grand solar alliance we have in our country. And these projects may not be visible. You may not be able to see the solar rooftops. But trust me, these are impacting you. People expect smart cities to just become maybe a street of Sydney or maybe somewhere else. But these are something intangible, but they are reducing your energy for the matter. So there are different angles to it. Last few minutes, waste to energy. In fact, one example which I wanted to tell was, in Indore, all the waste which you produce, a lot of them, we create a hill of it. What they were able to do is, they were able to remove that hill and utilize the land which was beneath that hill. Now that entire 30 acres of land in Indore, which was under that hill of garbage, is now available for public development. Now, that is a prize. We wanted to sort that solid waste, but some wise man was looking at the land beneath that dump of entire hill. And that is where he's kind of working it. As a municipal commissioner, that becomes an incentive to me that if I remove and solve this kind of hill, I get that land for free. So these are kind of developments which are happening in. Well, this is my last slide. What is the way future in smart cities? Or what is going to be the second version? Well, we acknowledge very strongly on data-driven performance management. We will not distribute resources to anybody who is in the line. There are people who with declared and proven outcomes will get it. You come here, my target was to build 1,000 of such utensil. I have built it. Show me, prove me, take the money and go ahead. This is the outcome-driven approach on which we are moving to. Innovation, well, when we are doing such kind of an investment in urban infrastructure, why rather be innovative about it? Innovation requires more patience. Innovation requires being much more experimental. So that is where the entire kind of dimension of smart cities will move on. And the last is obviously capacity building. We are moving it. So that is what I wanted to say. Thank you. I hope this presentation helps you understand that the gamut and challenges of the mission is huge, and we are trying to address this, at least acknowledging that this is the level and gamut of things which we need to address. Thank you.